Hello and welcome back to An Old Man Watches, where today I will be talking about the 2010 Chinese historical action adventure Detective Dee and the Mystery of the Phantom Flame. Now, in the year 689 of the Tang Dynasty, Wu Zetian is about to be crowned the first empress in Chinese history. The innovation of a female ruler is far from universally popular, of course, and in order to symbolically demonstrate her heavenly mandate to rule, Wu Zetian orders the construction of a giant statue of Guan Yin, the female Buddha of compassion. But, as the statue nears completion, not one but two officials associated with the project mysteriously and apparently spontaneously burst into flame. Now, such a phenomenon can only be interpreted in one of two ways. Either it is a punishment from divine forces refuting the empress's right to rule, or the work of some mortal foe who wishes it to appear to be a sign from the gods. Now, the Empress naturally favours the latter explanation, and so she orders her attendant/bodyguard, Jing Er, to release the former rebel Di Renji from prison. This might seem an odd decision, but you see, although Di once took up arms against the regime, he is also China's most gifted detective, perhaps the only man who can uncover the truth behind these strange events. Not that the Empress intends to let the former rebel conduct his investigation unsupervised, of course. She orders both Jing Er and a law officer named Dong Lai to accompany Di as he seeks to unravel the mystery of the Phantom Flame. And, to be honest, Di might soon be glad of the backup. It rapidly becomes clear that who is behind these events, whoever they are, they have large resources at their disposal, including plenty of well-armed, well-trained assassins. The race is on. Can Di unravel the conspiracy before it claims its presumed final victim, the soon-to-be Empress herself? So Wu Zetian was a real-life empress ruling China from 690 to 705 CE, and Di Renji was also a real-life person. He was in fact one of the most celebrated government officials of Wu's reign. The real-life Di was, among other things, a renowned magistrate, a role that some 12 centuries later saw him make the fictional leap to detective in a series of Chinese crime stories. Renowned Hong Kong director Tsui Hark had long been interested in Di, spending a number of years researching the real-life figure, so when production company Huayi Brothers brought him this script, Hark was keen to take it on, though he insisted he be allowed to make some script changes. Now, he's been largely silent on what those changes actually were, though he has revealed that in the original script, Jing Er was a male character, and he changed it to be a female character. Filming took place from May 2009 through February 2010, with Hark apparently driving himself to the point of exhaustion. Such was his passion for the project. The effort paid off. The film returned nearly 3 times its budget at the box office and received no less than 12 award nominations at the 30th Hong Kong Film Awards, winning 6, including Best Director and Best Actress. Multiple prequel movies would follow, the first in 2013. And having watched this film, I think it deserved its success. It's got some flaws, of course, most things do, but also some notable strengths. I was certainly engaged throughout its 2-hour runtime and will likely seek out the follow-up movies and check them out as well. But for now, let's dive into this picture in a little more detail, starting with probably the only real negative for me, which is that I'm not convinced the story makes a lot of sense. There are several specific plot points that seemed a bit wobbly. For instance, and I'm going to try to avoid spoilers here, so this will be a bit vague. At one point, Di works out that a particular person has a certain mystical power. He figures this out because they stop him from doing something that would have inadvertently ended the effects of that power. But as far as I can tell, they weren't using the power at the time, so why would it have been an issue? Now, in the interest of fairness, I'll note that I was watching this with subtitles. Perhaps this is better explained in the Mandarin dialogue. My non-English language skills are limited to very rudimentary French and Spanish, so I wouldn't know. On a wider plotting scale, the scheme behind the Phantom Flame is, as is the nature of such things in films, extremely complex and convoluted and took immense resources. I think anyone smart enough to secretly assemble all of this power and set up all of the elements of the Baroque plan should be smart enough to come up with a much more simple, direct and effective strategy. But as I said, such extravagant schemes are the bread and butter of mystery media, and part of the film is unravelling what the heck is going on. So many films of this kind of genre probably won't matter that. They won't worry about that overly much. It's just part and parcel of the genre. And there's a lot to like about the movie. For one thing, I very much enjoyed the core trio of Di, Dong Lai and Jing Er. Though they're all united in the shared objective of solving the mystery, these three characters have very different personalities, value systems, and beliefs to one another. This means they all approach the investigation in different ways, with different priorities, a situation that creates plenty of opportunity for disagreement and suspicion, which in turn create friction between them and add more mystery and tension for the viewer. For example, Dong Lai's investigative tactics are aggressive, verging on cruel at times, which leads to clashes with the more circumspect Dee, and creates the implied possibility that Dong Lai is as much a competitor or rival, or perhaps even secret adversary, as he is a colleague. Similarly, Jinge's personal loyalty to the Empress creates friction between her and Dee. The man is a former rebel, after all. It also means she may have priorities that supersede her desire to solve these crimes. Watching these three people, with their mutual suspicions and priorities, try to untangle the complex mystery with which they are faced is entertaining stuff. Also entertaining are the martial arts sequences. The film's action was overseen by Sammo Hung, a legendary name in the Hong Kong movie industry. Hung began his career in the 1960s, first as a child actor, but by the end of the decade, while still only 16 years old, he began working as an action choreographer, a role for which he has subsequently and rightly become acclaimed. And he does not disappoint in this film, that's for sure. There's a wide variety of cool fight scenes, almost always making good use of the terrain, bridges, trees, statues, canoes, etc. and so on, as a factor in the fights. There's also some clever use of Dee's special weapon, a resonant mace that can find the weak point of any inanimate object. There's some great scenes where the intrepid detective uses this ability to shatter his enemy's blade and direct the broken shards back against them. Now, I'm not alone in being impressed by the action. The quality of Hung's work here was recognised with a nomination for Best Action Choreography at the Hong Kong Film Awards. It didn't win. The film that actually won was Ip Man 2, with action choreography by Sammo Hung. What can I say? The man really knows his stuff. I will give one word of warning. There is a fight scene where Dee tackles a group of deer. They're obviously CGI, not real animals, but even so, for Western audiences, those scenes of violence, with animals dying, sometimes quite graphically, even if, as I said, not real animals, still might be a bit of a shock for some viewers. Next time, filmmaker Bert I. Gordon is best known for his schlocky giant monster movies, such as Earth vs. the Spider and War of the Colossal Beast, but he did occasionally try something else, and in the 1960 ghost story Tormented, I think he largely did it quite well. But that is next time. Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you've seen Detective Dee and the Mystery of the Phantom Flame, let me know what you thought of it.